Most traders lose money before New York session even opens, and it has nothing to do with entries. It all has to do with your pre-planning. This video is for those traders who feel like they're reacting instead of having that plan before session starts. For those of you who do not know, my name is Michael. I trade New York session every single morning, and I make sure to build a directional bias before I even think about entries. And this is exactly how I do it, guys. So we're gonna do this on GJ, guys. I do not trade GJ, as those of you know, but the point is to show you guys that the way we form our directional bias can be done on any markets, any instruments, any charts. So right off the bat, we're gonna do our top-down analysis. I always start on my weekly and I work my way down. So looking up and to the left, what I'm doing right now is just spotting my next weekly supplies. So I notice we have a weekly supply right here that gave us this clean push to the downside. And we also have, these other two, but I'm going to mark this true area, which is going to be our highest probability weekly supply. Let's just mark this one because it's still a valid weekly. All right, what else? What else? Okay, I see that we're currently inside of a weekly supply. But what else do I notice? I notice we have a big void above this weekly. So when these areas in between from where the push started from, they're going to be used as pullbacks to then continue the movement to the true area from where the actual push started from. What else do I see, guys? I love marking liquidity. And what I see here is that we have, some liquidity right here sitting above price and below that void. So we can mark this right here as liquidity. All right, now I'm just looking for areas of demand below price action. So I can see that we had this weekly here, nice impulse movement to the upside, pulled back into it, respected it, and then we left behind this weekly demand right here. Guys, when marking our supplies and demands, it is simply that last, contrary candle before the big push. So for, these demands, I'm looking for that gray candle before this big distribution to the upside. What else do I see, guys? I see more liquidity right here in, recent current price action. So we can mark this here, just showing us that, hey, these are more confluences that the market is probably going to use this area as a pullback to then continue to the true areas from where the pushes started from. Now let's go to the daily time frame, guys. All right, so right off the bat, like I mentioned prior, I love marking my liquidity and my areas of supply and demand. I use everything as confluences to form, this directional bias, guys. So this liquidity right here, notice all of these wicks here married, just creating more liquidity. We even have, relatively equal lows right here with these two daily candles. So we can mark this here as equal lows, which is just showing us that short term, we're probably going to be using this area as a pullback, to maybe pull into a nice, high probability demand. What else am I seeing, guys? I'm seeing order flow respecting demand and validating supplies. So right here, for example, we have this beautiful daily demand that was respected, left behind a new daily demand right here. And guys, make sure you are using your magnet set to weak so that when you're marking these areas of interest, they are, accurate. Okay, now I'm just marking my daily demand, which is this clean opposite candle that gave us this nice push to the upside. Above price action, we do have this, low probability daily supply. This candle and this distribution is probably just being formed to have that pullback to then continue that movement to the upside. So that's pretty much it on the daily time frame for here. But I want to see, daily supplies above price. And, like we mentioned, this is a top-down analysis. So we're going through all our time frames. Okay, so above this, weekly, daily demand supply that we're currently in. Remember how I told you we have liquidity sitting above it with the clean void. Notice how we have this, low probability daily supply, but we're still going to mark it. And then this extreme daily that's just above the weekly. Okay, so we'll mark this right here as our daily. And obviously, guys, we do have, other confluences with these weeklies that are above us. So just to show you guys, how we mark our areas of supply and demand. So, and then this weekly up here also has a daily and confluence. Okay, so now we're gonna reset the chart and go down to our H4 and give us a clear image of what price is showing us. Okay, so overall, we're seeing that the higher time frame is showing us that it wants to make its way to the upside, but we're currently having a small retracement, a small pullback. Okay, notice inside here, notice in this daily. Let me remove these session-based indicators. Notice how we have a 4-hour demand and confluence with it, sitting below all this liquidity right here. Look at these, three candles here, equal lows to the pip. All this price action right here, guys, is pretty ugly. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's go to the 1-hour time frame, guys. All right, so notice this pullback coming off of the weekly, daily, and not only that, we came into this area. This is the third time, right? So these highs up here are relatively equal. We have this liquidity right here sitting above price action. More indications that, hey, price on a higher time frame wants to continue its movement to the upside, but we're just trying to find that high probability area of interest where we can possibly continue that push to the upside. We're going to mark this 1 hour right here, even though we know that this is going to be a low probability H1 that was simply printed and used to get us deeper, into these areas of interest. And now, guys, just to prove a point and show you guys, notice how all these demands have been used. Every single one has been tapped into. We have another set of, equal lows right here. Oops, sorry about that. Notice right here, guys, relatively equal lows below price, just more indications that the market has to have that, pullback before continuing its move to the upside. And then from the 15-minute down, that's where we start dialing in, once we're closer to session, we start piecing together our order flow and what, the market can possibly do. But when we're talking about our directional bias on a higher time frame, very, very clean, directional bias and markings for GJ. So overall, guys, we do understand that we're inside of a weekly supply that gave us this, push to the downside. Nice push to the downside, but when, zooming in on this weekly supply, we noted that we married into more liquidity. Price action inside of this weekly is not the cleanest, okay? If I go replay mode right here and go to like the H1, just to show you guys really quick, notice the price action inside of this, push. Just all these wicks is just liquidity waiting to be, slaughtered, right? So that's our first indication that, hey, this area that we're currently in is probably just going to be used as a pullback because we do have a nice void sitting above, this supply with this weekly, daily supply that gave us this clean push to the downside. So overall, guys, our higher time frame is showing us that, the main true area, which is going to be our highest probability target, is going to be this weekly supply. So this is exactly where we're headed. But these areas in between are going to be used as pullbacks to then continue that movement to the true area from where the push started from. So when we're talking about a highest probability area of interest to look to possibly continue the buy movement off of is going to be this daily demand that gave us this clean push to the upside. So notice this beautiful daily demand, a very nice void sitting above it, indicating that this is clearly institutional, money, you know, influxed into the market. What else do we have to piece together, guys? On shorter term, more recent price action, we have equal lows sitting below price. We have another set of equal lows and liquidity, giving us that bias that, hey, we're gonna have this pullback to this area. Possibly we get a clean confirmation off of here. We can continue that movement to the upside. Now, for those of you traders who like to catch these, counter trend trades towards these areas of interest, very simple, guys. Notice how we have this daily 1 hour. Me personally, I am a trend trader. I only trade with the higher time frame trend. Therefore, you will never see me doing counter trend trades. But yes, for those of you who do want to get fancy with it and want to put those skills to the test, you could do counter trend trades to possibly catch those movements to these high probability areas of interest. But for me, I'm very disciplined when it comes to my higher time frame direction. And this is exactly why I trade 3 pairs, because I can cycle them, have my alarm set in my high probability areas of interest, and do nothing but wait for price action to come and hit my alerts. But anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, would like more videos like this, Please leave a comment below. Any questions you have pertaining to this breakdown, to this analysis, leave it in the comment section below. I would greatly appreciate it. And for those of you who have not subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button for these weekly videos that are going to be coming out consistently, throughout the next few years, right? We're building an empire here. This is a start. But yes, guys, you will start seeing weekly videos and we're just going to add from there. But anyways, guys, God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.